Katie Hunter for MMA UK. I'm here with Hayder Hassan. So nice to meet you.
Yeah, Katie, thanks for having me on. And yeah, I saw you're from the UK. I saw one of your pictures. You're with Brad Pickett. That's
Yeah.
my boy, man. Brad Pickett's family. So when I saw
What?
Pickett, I was like, oh, this girl's awesome.
Yeah, he's a friend. He started off being my coach, and then I ended up working for him at his fight promotion, Rise of Champions, and he's just been a real mentor to me and everything that I want to get into in MMA. And obviously, he trained out at ATT many times in his career, so I did wonder if you'd be friends with him.
Yeah, he's my boy. I've always his fighting style is something that I've always appreciated, and because I'm a striker, I like to go out there and bring it. So every time I see one of his fights, it's very motivating just to see like the possibilities of what your mind will put you through. So it's really awesome. He's my boy.
Yeah, he's a real pioneer for MMA in the UK.
Yeah.
And of course, his fight style is really exciting. But he also, through going over to ATT and training with you guys, has brought like a really strong wrestling game back to the UK. So his gym is really known for having that kind of really high level of wrestling that's not usually synonymous with the UK. No offense to other gyms in the UK, but like historically, it hasn't been our strong point. So
Yeah.
he's.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you go.
Yeah, no, he's a phenomenal grappler. My two previous fights that were with Phoenix in Abu Dhabi and Dubai, he was the fight commentator for them. So he was calling the play-by-play, and that was just super cool for me. Like I was like, dude, I got my boy watching. He's calling the fight, and like it was I definitely, it made me like bring it, like I'm gonna go out there and Mike Tyson this dude up, So like, cool, man. He's my boy.
I've got so much respect for people who can commentate when their friends are fighting, because I've seen him stay remarkably unbiased when he's been commentating on a friend of ours, and I know it's not something I'd be able to do.
Yeah, I enjoy I enjoy this commentating, and for sure, like my not my 3 fights ago, I fought Roger Huerta, and he's a fan of Roger Huerta, who isn't. He's got a great fighting style. So it was cool to see how he was calling our fight and being neutral. It was cool. Yeah, it's professionalism for sure.
Oh, it's lovely to start off by giving him a shout out. Masvidal actually did in a press conference when he was over here fighting Darren Till. We started off by heaping praise on Brad, so we better not talk about him for too long, or he'll get a big head.
I do. George is the man too. That's what's up. God bless him. I was so happy for George. That was well deserved. He's paid his dues in his career, and to see him go out there and perform like that, I was super happy for him, man.
That was an awesome fight, and he's got a really high fight IQ as well, because he could obviously see what was unfolding and maybe read a few of those punches and see what was getting through, and he just played that so well.
Yeah, I think he's got 30, 40 fights, and not to mention his backyard, the ones in the backyard. That just goes to see who he is, So like, he's been my teammate for 9 years. Yeah, it's just awesome. We're very blessed.
And Mike Brown says that he seems like more motivated than he's ever seen him at the moment. Really heads in the right place with training and his diet and stuff.
Yeah, I think also like with age, like you just I know once I turned 30, I was like, oh man, everything clicked, Like I really had it. I felt like I had all my experiences as far as life wise, that from like the 30 to say 40, I know what I wanted. I know what I needed, and I feel like that comes just with maturity in life. But I really feel like that 30 is that magic number. And
I wish that had happened to me.
I don't know. I had some crazy life experiences, so like
maybe 40 will be my magic number.
God bless. You're killing it. God bless.
So anyway, let's talk about you, because loads of exciting stuff going on with you. You obviously first came to kind of worldwide attention when you did The Ultimate Fighter for your first time on Series 21. A lot of bad blood between the head coaches in both the series that you've been involved with. So you were on the American Top Team versus Black Zillion season, and then you also came back for the Redemption season, which was Cody versus TJ. I could literally talk to you all night about all the questions that we'd have about this, but in TUF season 21, you had an epic run and lost in the finale to Kamaru Usman, who's obviously the champion at welterweight in the UFC at the moment. So firstly, did you always know that he would go on to become the champion in the UFC? Could you tell even back then?
No, not really. And to be honest with you, I know I can beat him. When I fought Kamaru, the Ultimate Fighter was it's one of the toughest tournaments in sports, if not the toughest tournament in sports. I had those three fights in 17 days. Then I went and I fought Kamaru. When I fought Kamaru, I had a really bad problem with overtraining. And when I went into that fight, I was probably at my worst I've ever been. My body shut down on me twice during training. And one time I was sparring and my knees just went out for me. And another time when I was in wrestling practice, my legs just went out for me. And like I almost like 2 times I was like, oh man, I might have to pull out of this fight. It was just like my heart that got me there. But after I had my weight cut, I think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back, because like I was just super fatigued. I ended up sleeping after I weighed in. I ate, got my body back to its weight limit, but I literally slept for like I think like almost the whole day. And then like when I woke up to leave to the fight, I slept in the locker room. My body was just like so fatigued, and by the time I got in there, being physically and run down, being mentally run down, you make mistakes, and but you make mistakes against an athlete like Kamaru, you're gonna pay for it. He's a phenomenal athlete. He's a world champion for a reason. And to fight a guy like that, you have to bring your A game. You have to be your best. And for me, it was meant to be a learning experience, and I was grateful for that. After that fight, I ended up changing the way I train. So everything happens for a reason. This is meant to be a learning lesson. I'm grateful for it. Every loss is, they say, oh, either you win or you learn. Even though that learning part stings really, really badly.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I still think about that. I think about it probably 100 times in a week. Oh man, just from the stuff, but that's the stuff that you just have to push away, and that's motivation for you. You know. And for me, it's more cool. I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna show my improvements, and show that I'm one of the best that's out there. And I feel when I'm healthy, I can beat anybody.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
So how long after you left the TUF house was the finale?
So it was. So when I think we got out of the TUF house at the end, like around March period, and then the finale's in July. But
it's a strange amount of time, isn't it? Because like you've already put your body through so much, but then it's almost like a whole fight camp again to get you to July.
Yeah, and that was my biggest problem was I was someone that always like you need to do more, you need to do more, you need to do more, and there was a lot of money on the line. I had just won American Top $200,000. Now I'm fighting for $300,000 for them.
Yeah.
So I was like I'm gonna go out there, and so like I was excited to train. I was happy to train, but became a point where it was a lot. Like that year, I had 5 fights that year, 6 fights in 14 months, and by the time I fought Vicente, that was my 5th fight of the year, my 6th fight in 14 months. And, when I lost to Kamaru, instead of taking time off, I was like, I need to get back in the gym. I was pissed, So rather than I didn't let my so like mentally, I needed time off, and then the UFC
Yeah.
gave. I got the fight to fight Vicente, and I was just by that time it was my sixth fight, and I was just run down, and I made mental mistakes. And Vicente's another monster. You see, he's killing everybody in UFC. Even though
Yeah.
I just beat him when I beat him on the Ultimate Fighter. That was my third fight in 17 days. Uh, so when I'm healthy, I know I can knock out Vicente inside 2 rounds.
And when you are in the house and you're fighting that often in such a short period of time, how difficult is it to continue, like, to stay at that weight or to continue making weight? Like,
Yeah, it's it's diff. I try to go in there at a around like uh 12 pounds over. But it's difficult. On this most recent season, on the redemption season, I had 3 fights in 15 days, and yeah, because I ended up
you
getting
had
the
the wild card as well.
I had the
Yeah.
wild card, so like I was literally back in there, I had making weight 3 days later, fighting on the fourth day, and so that's what I'm talking about. People don't know like how like these are it's the toughest tournament in sports, but it's
Yeah.
also the most rewarding. Mentally, you grow so much. The redemption season, I didn't do as good as I should have, but as far as fight IQ development, it was the most amazing amount of growth I've ever had in my career. On the redemption, as far as fight IQ wise, I probably went into it with my bachelor's as far as fight IQ knowledge.
Yeah.
When I left that house, I had left with my PhD in fighting, because the guys I fought were just all studs.
Yeah.
Diego Lima, he's a stud, man. God bless him. Joe Stevenson, man, legend.
That
50
was a
pro
great fight.
50 pro fights. Joe and then Jesse Taylor. Jesse Taylor has 50 pro fights. Middleweight Ultimate Fighter.
So, Hayder, what did you make of him popping for steroids shortly, or popping for a banned substance, like shortly after he was re-signed to the UFC?
Um, you know, it can happen. There uh, our supplements aren't regulated any. The supplements in the United States, I don't know if they are in the UK, but they're not regulated by the FDA. So you
Hmm.
literally have companies making supplements in their tub, and then they put a label on it, and they're able to sell it. So like in the states, because there's no FDA control, uh, cross contamination happens all the time, and you're seeing it in the UFC with a lot of fighters. So I think it happens, and that's why for myself, I only take organic stuff. I only take
Yeah.
organic stuff. Jesse's a good dude, man. After we fought, I talked to him, and because he's fought everybody, he's fought middleweight, he's fought 205, he has over 50 pro fights, and I talked to him, and this was like literally after we had just fought. We were in the kitchen, and I was talking to him, and he was telling me, I was I was asking how he goes through his fights mentally after taking the loss, and he was like, he was like, I just turn the page. Whatever happens, like I just turn the page and write a new chapter. Like take what you need from it and then move on. And that's what I thought was like really really cool. Um, and that's how I looked at that fight with Jesse
Yeah.
Taylor. My loss versus Jesse and my loss versus Kamaru. Kamaru is a wrestler that will fight you until you punch him in the face. Once you punch him in the face, then he's going to try and tie you up, take you down.
Yeah.
Uh, he'll stand with you just for a little bit. Jesse Taylor is a wrestler that will attack you. That's not going to stand with you at all. It's just going to try and take you down right from the start. So with those two guys, I learned my distance, and and how to fight wrestlers like that, fighters like that. And I really like it made my fight in Abu Dhabi 2 fights ago. I fought Pavel Kush. He was a sambo stud. He was 22-3. All 22 wins were by finishes, and he's like the Khabib. He had with his when he has 17 submissions out of his 22 wins, and the other wins are all knockouts. So he's always constantly on you.
Yeah.
My first Mario and my loss versus Jesse Taylor. That's how I beat this guy Pavel because I was able to I learned my distance, and because Pavel was always trying to attack you, grab you, hold you. So because I lost to those, the knowledge I gained from it, I was able to beat Pavel. And now and Pavel's a stud, man. He got signed to the PFL. His first fight was against Khabib's cousin. The guy's 18-0, and he put him down with an uppercut and choked him out. So Pavel Kush, he's the number one ranked fighter from Ukraine. Yes, that's why I'm saying like you either win or you learn. That's why right now like I'm ready to fight the best.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to show that. And God willing, I'll get some fight news soon because I'm itching to get back in there. My last fight was in October, so yeah, God willing.
So let's move on to the fact that you've just signed for MTK Fight Management. So what are you expecting from them? Where would you like to be fighting next? What promotions are you interested in, or are there any particular matchups that excite you?
Yeah, I signed with MTK Global, MTK MMA, and I'm excited just because of their global reach. They have outreach everywhere. My guy that I'm working with, Rizwan Ali, his specialty is the South Asia and the Middle East. So like, and I like how they each have their rep that specializes. Okay, in Brazil, this guy specializes in the UK, whatever. So. I'm I'd love to fight for one FC. I think I can go out there and show them the fights that they want to see. I'm a very exciting fighter. Most importantly, I'm ready. I
Yeah.
can't say it enough. Like I'm ready. Let's go. I'm coming off two good wins. My loss to Roger Huerta was a DQ. I was beating him all 2 rounds, and man, right after I got DQ, I got DQ'd. He got signed by Bellator, and he fought Benson Henderson for the main event. So like,
Yeah.
and I was
But
smoking.
explain to people what happened in that fight, because
Uh,
after a while people just see an L on a record and kind of forget the circumstances. So
yeah, it should have been a no contest in my opinion because I was disqualified for an elbow to the back of the head. He had shot in a takedown. I stuffed the takedown. He kept his head next to my hip, so I fired elbows to his head, and the first they were legal. He got rocked, but as he got hurt, his head was turned, and I kept firing elbows. But it's a moving target. You're
yeah,
fighting. So the ref stopped the fight. Um, the referee was going to let the fight go, but because Roger had a pretty bad cut behind his head, uh, they disqualified me. Even though I was up I was up on both cards in the second round, and I was just getting started. But it is what it is. But that loss hurt. It
yeah,
hurt me because when people look at my record, they just see a loss. Um, and then they have to like click on it and it will say uh, it says disqualification, illegal elbows, and that's what's so that hurt me. So luckily I'm coming off of 2 good wins, so onwards and upwards. I really should have 3 in a row right now, but
yeah.
sometimes cookies don't crumble, and now I got some good momentum on my side, and I'm ready keep building.
Mentally, that's got to be so tough. It's got to be tougher than a loss. It's got to be tougher than getting beaten by your opponent, because you've got to pick yourself up from knowing that you did everything right and you still didn't walk away with the W.
Yeah, this is the fight game is anything can happen, and
Yeah,
that's also why I love the sport. Um, I definitely didn't think that would happen, but emotionally I learned just to always be in control. Could I have maybe stopped one of the elbows at the end? Looking back, I should have. I should have gone from elbow to push his head and started firing hammer fists. I think the hammer fist would have been it makes a louder noise, and it's more my hammer fists are brutal. So just one of those would have stopped the fight. So maybe I should have fired the elbows and then go from elbows to hammers. I think that would have been pretty more effective looking back. So maybe I'm more tactical because of it. So I learned something from it. You
even
learn
from
from
that.
them all. Yeah, you learn from them all. I'm more deadly because of it, if anything.
Well, you mentioned one earlier. They've got some amazing talent over there, and I think that's been highlighted by the names that people in the US and the UK know that have gone over to one who've been beaten. A lot of people have said, oh, they didn't want Sage to get beaten, or they didn't want Eddie to get beaten on their debuts, but I think it shows the quality that they have in those divisions over there already. And obviously Gary Tonan's like just on fire at the moment for them. There's so many eyes on one. I think if I was a fighter, it's certainly somewhere I'd be really excited to fight.
They're doing tremendous things, and they're also like I like the fact that they treat the fighters good, and for sure. I mean, Eddie and Sage, they didn't do them any favors. They put them. They threw. Cosmo's a stud. He's a world champion Muay Thai. He was like the striking coach for the Black Zillions for a while before Tyrone Spong was over there. So he's legit. I think he's a striking coach from one of the gyms over there now, wherever he's from, he lives now. But so he's legit. So they threw, in my opinion, Sage to the wolves. He in the UFC, he was kind of taken care of. They kind of gave him the right opponents. He's a young kid, so they were building him up. In one, they were like, welcome to the big league. And in my opinion, and that was the first time he fought a real man. That guy was a real man. Man, God bless him, man. I hope he's
a speedy recovery. He's a lovely guy.
He's a good dude. I met him in the back of I forgot what UFC event it was, but he's so cool. How you see him is how he is, and he's a really cool kid, man. God bless him, man.
It's good to know that when he gets backstage, he doesn't start swearing and being horrible to people.
No, legit like that. We talked about pizza. He's like, I don't really eat pizza, man. If I do, it's just the veggies. I'm like, oh wow, you're really you're cool. Yeah, lucky kid.
He's so cute.
Yeah, he's like That's what I'm saying. God bless him. He's still a kid, man.
Yeah. I really wish him a speedy recovery. It was a nasty injury. I think he's got something like 8 fractures in his skull, and he went through a 9-hour surgery afterwards, and was still smiling and being grateful. But that's just him.
It shows how brutal the sport is. That's how I feel like. I hope. At least in one, they're paying him what he deserves. A good salary, and so that's good. And he got good. So he's got some good things on his side. He made some money, and they're taking care of him proper. So yeah, the good side. I always told the good side. Yeah, I also think positive. I always think positive.
Yeah. I've heard they're good to the media as well. So well done, one.
Yeah, for sure. Well, yeah, I'd love to for one. If given the opportunity, I'd love to. I know my manager is close with them. So, one, if you're listening, holler. I'm down to represent. Bellator, I love Bellator. Bellator is great too. They're doing huge things. Lima's a monster. That knockout was incredible versus Venom Page. I know Venom is a big.
What did you make of that?
Man, that was phenomenal. I was. It was so brutal. It was unexpected. Never seen a finish like that. Both guys are super dangerous. MVP had just rocked Lima with a shot 2 seconds before that. So that just goes to show you how dangerous they are. And in my opinion, Bellator has some of the best strikers in all of MMA in the welterweight division. In the welterweight division, the strikers there between Lorenz Larkin, Lima,
Rory McDonald,
Rory. There's a lot of that's a high level talent, man. They got that one Russian that throws crazy attacks. So MMA scene is very exciting right now. Every league is doing really big things. So God willing, I hope to be able to make some noise with them.
So you're fit at the moment. You're ready to fight. You're ready. If you got a phone call saying there was a fight in a month's time, you'd be.
Oh, I'd be ecstatic. I'd be ready. I've been staying ready. My last fight was in October. I've just been helping guys in their camps. I just finished helping Pitbull for his UFC Rio card like last weekend. So like I'm in the gym every day. I'm staying ready. So it's I'm at this point I'm hoping I'm waiting for a phone call. I look at my phone every 2 minutes. So uh, we'll see what happens. But I'm staying ready. God willing, by the latest I'll be in there is by July.
How frustrating is it when you're in the gym with a bunch of killers training for fights that they have coming up when you don't have one in your diary?
Yeah, it's it's not fun. It's because in training, training's fun when you have a purpose.
Yeah.
When you have, okay, I have this on this date. That's motivating. You're able to flip the switch and really go. Until then, you're just visioning. Like right the past couple months since I've been waiting for a fight and I'm training, I'm just envisioning. That's the word, envisioning. Envision,
Envisaging.
yeah. uh,
Envisioning.
imagining, visualizing what what I'm gonna do, and show my new and improved skills. So
Yeah.
I've been able to develop mentally, physically. I've been working really good with my strength conditioning coach. So I'm just during this time while I don't have a fight, I'm just getting more nasty. So
Yeah.
I'm building right now. I'm building, and I'll be ready to show the masterpiece when it's all said. Hopefully, very soon.
It's so great to speak to you and to hear you so positive and raring to go. I'm going to be also looking at my phone, waiting for an update on whatever fight news you've got coming. And I really hope it comes soon.
You're awesome, Katie. I appreciate you taking your time and showing interest in my career, and I appreciate the support of both Ultimate Fighters. And yeah, I'm looking forward to show the new improved Hayder Hassan and big things coming up.
We'll tag one in this interview as well when we post it. So you need to get him on the card.
Yeah, let's do it. Anywhere, whoever, wherever, whenever. I'm ready. Let's have some fun, man. Let's start this 2019 with a bang.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Hayder.
It's a pleasure, Katie.
Speaking to you.
It's an honor. And if you see Pickett, tell him I said what's up.
I will do.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
My respect. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Speak soon.